Good afternoon. It's Miss Kim with Miss Kim's Tarot and Tea Room. It is Sunday, July the 19th, 2026 at 2:26 p.m. And I thought I'd give you a couple days of astrological aspects of what's coming up, which is really interesting because we have several Jupiter aspects, which is very unusual. And Jupiter is expansive. And what I mean by that, of course, most people know what expansive is, but they don't know what Jupiter expands. A lot of times they just think that just has to do with wealth and to have big ideas. And sometimes that's the case. But more often than not, what's already there expands, kind of like a sponge when it's dry and you put water in it, how it expands and gets bigger of what's already there. So, tomorrow will be July the 20th, and we have one, two, three, four, five aspects. These are collective aspects. It's not necessarily just you and your chart, even though you will experience these things. This is the collective of the astrological um, aspects that's basically for the whole globe, these little tiny ones. And then we have ones inside of those that are ours. And how we interact with that, it's kind of like a dance. So, tomorrow, the moon is in Libra. Thank goodness. And then we have our first aspect, which is Jupiter trine Neptune. So it's really a time of universal love and creativity. You can never go wrong with an aspect like that. Hopefully, even the biggest warmongers on the planet would take notice when you have something like this that shows up. That's very rare. You don't normally get these aspects. And then we have Moon opposition Saturn. So you just want to stick with what your plans are and not deviate from what the plan is in the morning. And then there's the Moon trine Mars. So it's a good time for harmony. It's cheerful and exciting, the good kind of excitement, not the unexpected. Oh no, not this, but it's something good to stir us up, to give us more energy. And then we have the Moon square Mercury, which is a time of indecision, worry, and restlessness. But here's the clincher. Here's the last one. That's Jupiter opposition Pluto. This is, this can play out in many ways, which is grandiosity and to the point that where you try to exploit a situation or someone and you find out your arrogance and cockiness and grandiosity blows up in your face. It's one of those here, hold my beer moments. And you basically get hit in the head with a plank when you're trying to show off in front of your friends. So, what's already here on the world stage, I'm going to put it that way so you can read between the lines, can expand out and retract back in. One of those, I wish I would have had a V8 moments, except you're being hit between the eyes with a board. That's just a little hint of what can happen. But remember, we have this moon in Libra, and moon in Libras want fairness. They want sweetness in life. They want beauty. They want art, beautiful music. The downside to that moon in Libra is being indecisive and not being able to make a decision. So that could be a theme also, along with a Mercury retrograde, but we're almost there. We're almost there. I think our Mercury retrograde, I've got it as the 23rd. Yeah, The 23rd, Mercury will go direct at 6:58 p.m. We are almost there. But always remember, before that Mercury goes into the direct station, we normally get an unpleasant surprise that we did not anticipate. And then you'll know, hey, Mercury is direct. And then the shadow is going to take 2 weeks to go over. That's why you don't want to make any plans for a new beginning until about the first week in August. So let's look at the 21st of July. The moon will go void, of course, which means it's a no sign at 7:06 a.m. Eastern time. And then it will enter into Scorpio in a sign at 9:35 a.m. Scorpio is a little bit more intense. It wants to dig deep. Topics of death, sexuality, rebirths, new beginnings, something very transformative can occur. So I love Moon in Scorpio because I am a Scorpio, and it gives me a very physical energy boost. But I like deep subjects. To me, pain is talking about inconsequential things like the weather and little back and forth, what do you do kind of things. That's murderous to me in my spirit. But getting deep down and getting into the deep water is what I like. So that is what that moon in Scorpio will bring. And then we have the moon square sun. So do not force a matter that you have been trying to nag somebody or get them to do something during this time, because you are going to get an explosive result. I'm telling you now. And then we have another Jupiter transit, and this is once again rare. Jupiter sextile Uranus. You may consider doing something completely unusual and out of your character new. So this time that we're having right now during this week is a really good time to ask yourself what you want to do and what you're finished doing. And I am definitely feeling that in my own spirit now. And then we have the moon quincunx Neptune. So you need to discriminate. Am I being lazy, or I'm just relaxing and I'm being apathetic about a situation? Afterwards, we have the moon square Pluto. Don't make any demands on yourself or other people, because it's not going to be met well either. And then we have a moon quincunx Uranus that will create a situation where a person's mood may change, and maybe another person may notice, and it will unsettle that person because it might trigger them about the way the person might be acting, the other person, and it could trigger them in some way. And then it's the last aspect is moon square Jupiter. And with this, people break promises, or your plans are not practical to carry out what you wanted to at that time, or you may be way excessive beyond what is capable at that time. So I just want you to be aware of some of these aspects, because they made me take notice, because I've kind of laid off doing the aspects because it seems like people aren't interested in that. But I felt that this was worth talking about. And I'm going to do a quick 3-card spread. And I'm not going to talk all day and all night, because I'm trying to keep them a little bit quieter and a little bit less intense and short, sweet, and to the point. Let's say that. So the first card that I have is the Ace of Swords. Now this card can be excessive in itself, but it is always a card of being successful. But you have to watch for that black and white thinking, and having this mindset that your thinking is how everybody's thinking is, and they're on the same page as you. So you really have to understand that not everybody is where you are, and you have to communicate better with this card. But it definitely shows um, great success on the intellectual plane, very intelligent person with great ideas. It just needs to be brought down to earth. And then here we have temperance. And this is like something that's fades, that's passing away and going to something else. So temperance is all about balance, creating a situation where there's give and take, and to not let yourself get too far in one direction or the other, which this Ace of Swords is not about that. So this is about tempering your energy. And then the outcome is, it looks like there's some proposals that are of an emotional nature that are coming in that will tug on your heartstrings. But sometimes it is about business. And in that business opportunity, what they're asking you to do will tug on your heartstrings and make you feel that it's something you should do because of it's more of a social situation, um, or something with the human condition. We are changing. I am noticing, and I don't talk about all the flash in the pan aspects that are coming up because you're not going to see those day to day. And each person deals with those differently. But we all have the generic ones that we have to deal with and figure out how to work those daily. So I stick more to those because they're more practical and down to earth. My Virgo moon likes practical and down to earth and things that are workable and you could see with your own eyes, not something that's going to be way out there and you can't really tell for 2 more years. That's not useful to me to help somebody, because most people ask me, what can I do now to make this situation better? And me telling them, well, in 2 years after you process this, and this happens, then this is gonna, nobody wants to hear that. So I try to keep it down to earth where we are now. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are able to draw lines now of what they can and cannot tolerate anymore. And not even being mean about it. They just know that we're finished with this and that did not work. So, and I've learned a lesson from that. I'm looking back there to see what I learned, and we are doing that. And we're moving forward to say, just leave it back there. I have learned it. I don't need to repeat it. You may find that these people that are coming back into your life right now are testing you to see if you are willing to do that same dance with them. And in my case, my answer is no, not only no, but hell no. And so I mean no. And moving forward to the next thing that's going to matter, the next phase of life that's going to matter, that takes us where we need to go. And in practical matters, and also to give us the ability to dream again. Because for some time back there, it's just like it was a blank and people did not have excitement, but it's coming back to the earth. Just like there was a period of time when love just seemed to have left the earth. Well, now that energy that gives us animation and a reason to get up in the morning is coming back. So that gives me hope to know that there's new things that are coming in and there's new places for us to go. There's a Gilgal that we're going to be headed toward. That's the place that we want to end up, our happy place, our permanent happy place here on earth before we decide to leave. So enough intensity. We'll wait until Tuesday. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And I will talk to you later. I'm Miss Kim with Miss Kim's Tarot and Tea Room. Have a great day. Bye.